Hi, I am B. Janardhan Reddy. In this video, I am going to tell you about dispersion of light. Dispersion of light through a prism. These are the prisms. Okay, these are the triangular prisms. Dispersion of light through a prism. How a triangular prism is formed. Actually, what is the dispersion? Why it takes place? How light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves, that we are going to learn in this session. We know that when light travels from one material into another, it gets refracted. The angle of refraction depends on the wavelengths, that is, the colors of light. Each color of light is associated with a definite wavelength. It is the wavelength that determines the color of light. So, the angle of refraction is different for different colors. See here, we know that light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves, but in order to explain you what is wavelength, I have taken two waves, and this is the red light and this is the violet light. And what is wavelength? See here, these upper portions are called as crests and the lower portions are called as troughs. So what is the wavelength here? The distance between the two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs is called wavelength. So the wavelength of red color is from here to here, that is this much of distance. In case of violet light, the wavelength is less. So it is the wavelength that determines the colors of different lights. So different colors have the different wavelengths. So what happens when these colors fall on a glass slab? Do they refract in the same way or in different way? Let us see. This is the glass slab, and here a red color light is incident on the surface of the glass slab here. Okay, so this is called as the incident light. In order to know the refracted ray of it, we have to draw the normal at the point of incidence here. This is the normal drawn at the point of incidence. We know that when a ray of light travels from rarer medium into denser medium, because it is traveling from rarer into denser, so it bends towards the normal. This is the refracted ray. So here is the angle of refraction. This is the angle of refraction. Now let us allow the violet light incident along the same path. Does it refract in the same way or not? Let us see. Here violet color is incident. Now see, and this ray is getting refracted like this. That means the deviation is more for violet color and the deviation is less for red color light. That means angle of refraction is less. This is called angle of refraction. The angle of refraction is less for violet color and the angle of refraction is more for red color. This enables a prism to separate different colors in an incident beam of white light. So, different colors of light will refract in different way. Their angles of refractions are different. For that reason, a prism separates all colors from a beam of white light. Now, what is a prism? A prism is a transparent medium separated from the surrounding medium by at least two plane surfaces, which are inclined at a certain angle in such a way that light incident on one of the plane surfaces and emerges from the other plane surfaces. See here, this is a triangular prism, and count how many surfaces it has. It has 5 surfaces, of which 3 are the rectangular surfaces and 2 are the triangular surfaces. See here, these are the rectangular surfaces, 1, 2. Here is the third one. Similarly, you see how many triangular surfaces it has, 1, and this one is the 2. So this is called as the triangular prism. It has 3 rectangular surfaces and 2 triangular surfaces, and the rectangular surfaces are inclined at a certain angle. Okay, so a prism is a transparent medium separated from the surrounding medium by at least two plane surfaces, which are inclined at a certain angle in such a way that light incident on one of the plane surfaces and emerges from the other plane surface. So then what is a triangular prism? Triangular prism, see, a triangular prism contains two triangular bases and three rectangular plane lateral surfaces. So this is called as the triangular prism. It has three rectangular plane lateral surfaces and two triangular surfaces, and these two triangular surfaces are bases. That means a prism sits on the triangular base only. Even if a prism sits on the rectangular base, rectangular surface, its base is always triangular base only, surface only. The triangular surface only will be considered as its base. How a triangular prism is formed? Formation of triangular prism. Here I am showing how the triangular prism is formed. Here I am taking three rectangular plane surfaces. See here, this is the first rectangular plane surface, and here is the another plane surface, and this is the third rectangular plane surface. So here I have taken three rectangular plane surfaces from which I am going to form a triangular prism. See how. Okay, how nicely the prism is going to be formed here. This is one surface. I am going to join this surface to this surface at a certain angle. Okay, that means these two plane surfaces are joined at a certain angle here. Okay, so totally how many surfaces are there now here? One, two, only two surfaces are there now. Now I am going to join the third surface, this one, with the same angle here. Yes, that's all. See here, these three rectangular plane surfaces have joined together at a certain angle, okay, with one another. Now, so totally 1, 2, 3. There are three rectangular surfaces, and here this is the triangular surface, and here one more surface will be formed. See here, this is the triangular surface, and here is the another triangular surface. So a prism has how many rectangular plane surfaces? 3, and it has two triangular plane surfaces. See here, this is a prism. How this prism has been formed. See once again how I am going to join the three rectangular plane surfaces in order to form a prism. This is the first plane surface. This is the first rectangular plane surface, and here is the second one, here is the third one. So I am going to join the three surfaces at a certain angle. That forms a prism. Okay, that's all. So three rectangular plane surfaces have been joined together at a certain angle to each other. So this is the triangular base, and one more base is here. Okay, so this is called as the triangular base, and this is the rectangular surface. So a triangular prism has three rectangular surfaces and two triangular bases. See once again here. So it is called base, and this is called face, and this one is called vertex. Okay, vertex, corner. So identify the difference between these two. Here this prism has a seat on the triangular surface, so its base is triangular surface only. Even though it sits on the rectangular surface, the base is always triangular surface only. So in case of the triangular prism, the triangular surfaces are only will be treated as the bases. So see here, a triangular prism has 5 surfaces, its base is a triangle. Okay. Notice that even when the triangle prism sits on a rectangle, see here, this triangular prism has sit on the rectangle surface. So at that time also the base is still a triangle. The base is this one only. So two of its surfaces are triangles, three of its surfaces are rectangles, and the rectangle surfaces are called as the faces and the triangle surfaces are called as the bases, and it has six vertices. Count how many vertices it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices, that is 6 corners and 9 edges. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Back side here one more 9. Okay. What is dispersion? I already told you the refraction is different for different colors. It is this property enables a prism to separate different colors in a beam of white light that falls on one of the rectangular plane surfaces of a prism. We have already seen that different colors of light will refract differently. Their angles of refractions are different. So what is dispersion? Dispersion nothing but splitting of white light into different colors. The splitting of white light into different colors is called dispersion. So the different colors are VIBGYOR. VIBGYOR, that means violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. See here, this is the violet color and indigo and blue. You must remember one thing, the wavelength of each color is different. The wavelength of violet color is different from the wavelength of the indigo, and in turn it is different from blue color. So the wavelengths are different, that's why colors are different. Next green, next yellow, orange and red. So it is VIBGYOR, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Now light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves. Okay, so in electromagnetic waves, electric field and magnetic field vary perpendicularly to each other, and the wave travels perpendicular to both. Okay, in this, that is in electromagnetic waves, electric field and magnetic field varies perpendicularly to the direction of the propagation of wave. Okay, let us see how an electromagnetic wave propagates. So in electromagnetic wave, no particle physically vibrate. In electromagnetic wave, no particle physically oscillates back and forth. Instead, the magnitude of electric and magnetic fields associated with electromagnetic wave (EM wave) vary periodically at every point. These oscillating electric and magnetic fields propagate in all directions with the speed of light. Okay. So here in electromagnetic waves that we are going to see, no particle oscillates like this, isn't it? Only the magnitude of electric and magnetic fields vary perpendicularly to the direction of the propagation of wave. So in order to make a wave, here I have taken some points, dashes, etc. to form a wave. But don't imagine that they are the particles vibrating. They are the particles oscillating. No particle oscillate physically in electromagnetic waves. Okay. So to show the changing of electric and magnetic fields in electromagnetic wave, here I have taken some points, dashes, etc. to form the wave. Do not think that they are the particles vibrating. No particle vibrates in EM wave. This is very important. Here, to form a wave, to show a wave, I have taken some points or dashes. Just because I have taken some points and dashes to form a wave, don't imagine that they are the particles vibrating in an electromagnetic wave. This is very, very important. In an electromagnetic wave, no particle oscillate physically. Only the magnitude of electric and magnetic fields vary, change with respect to time, and they change, their magnitudes change perpendicular to each other to the direction of propagation of wave, that you can see. This is the electromagnetic wave. See here, this is the red part. It is the electric field changes continuously like this, and this part, blue part, it is a magnetic field. So electric field changes like this, magnetic field will changes like this, will change like this, and both change perpendicular to one another, and the wave moves like this. Okay, so this is the traveling direction, and I already told you light travels in the form of electromagnetic waves. Then what is the wavelength? Wavelength means from here to here. So length of the electromagnetic wave here. So in this, electric and magnetic field change perpendicularly to one another like this. So here I have taken some points to show how electric and magnetic field vary, but don't think that they are the particles really oscillates in electromagnetic wave. In electromagnetic wave, no particle oscillate physically. Just to show the formation of wave, I have taken these points. Okay, see, That's all. See here, it's the red one, here blue one. So this is the electric field. It is changing continuously like this with respect to time, and this is the magnetic field. It is changing. Both are changing perpendicularly to one another. Both are changing perpendicular to one another, and the wave is moving like this. So this is the electric field, red one, and blue one is the magnetic field. They keep on changing with respect to the propagation of wave. So the wave is moving like this. Okay, this is electromagnetic wave. So in an electromagnetic wave, electric field and magnetic field vary perpendicular to one another to the direction of the propagation of wave. That's all. And I will show you one more wave next. Here, one more example I am showing you. See here, this is the red part is the electric field variation, and the blue part is the magnetic field variation. Both fields are varying perpendicular to one another, and the wave is moving perpendicular to both of them in this direction. So along the x-axis, the wave is moving, and along the z-axis, electric field is varying, and along the y-axis, magnetic field is varying. So this is the propagation of the electromagnetic wave. You can also see in this wave also red portions and blue portions. Okay, the variation of the red part is the variation of electric field, and perpendicular to this, the blue part is varying like this. So electric field and magnetic field vary perpendicular to one another in electromagnetic wave, and perpendicular to both of these fields, the wave travels with the speed of light. See how they are varying. So see the electromagnetic wave in this also. Here yellow lines indicate the variation of electric field, and the green arrows indicate the variation of magnetic field. So both arrows change perpendicular to one another, and the wave moves perpendicular to both of them like this. So this is the direction of the wave motion. To this direction of wave motion, electric field is varying like this, and magnetic field will vary like this. Okay, see how they are varying. See how nicely they are varying. Yellow arrows indicate the electric field, and green arrows indicates the variation of magnetic field. Okay, same. E and B. E stands for electric field and B stands for magnetic field. Then what is the wavelength of a wave? Because this wavelength only will decide the color of the light. Okay, this is a wave. So in this, see here, these upper parts or upper portions are called as the crests, and the lower portions are called as the troughs. The distance between the two consecutive crests or two consecutive troughs is called as the wavelength, and it is denoted by a Greek letter called lambda. So lambda is called as the wavelength. You can see the waves here. Don't think that these are the electromagnetic waves. Just to show the wavelength, I am showing you this. How the crests and troughs are formed, you see here. So the distance between any two consecutive crests or any two consecutive troughs is called the wavelength. In case of waves, there is a wave equation. Okay, what type of waves are these? These are the transverse waves. Actually, electromagnetic waves, that is light waves, are transverse waves. Light travels in the form of transverse waves. Okay, here I am taking a wave to show the relationship between the wavelength, the frequency, and the velocity of the wave. Wave is moving like this. Okay, so suppose if I check here how many waves are crossing this point in 1 second. One wave is nothing but the amount of one wavelength. The amount of one wavelength is called one wave. So how many wavelengths are crossing at this point in 1 second? That is called as the frequency of the waves. If 10 waves are crossing in 1 second, it means that the frequency of the waves is 10 hertz. Frequency is measured in hertz, Hz. Okay, so imagine that the wave is moving with a speed of, with a velocity of v, and lambda is the wavelength. Just now I told you what is the wavelength, and nu is the frequency of the waves. The number of waves crossing at any point in 1 second is called as the frequency of the waves. There is a relation between these three quantities. So see here, let nu, this letter is the Greek letter nu be the number of waves crossing at any point in 1 second. This is called as the frequency of the wave, and v be the velocity of the wave, and the relation between v, nu and lambda is given by v equal to nu into lambda. Nu times lambda. V equal to nu times lambda. V is nothing but it is the velocity of the wave, and nu is the frequency of the wave. That means how many waves are passing in 1 second at any given point. So lambda is the wavelength. Obviously, we can know that if lambda is less means if the wavelength is small, then frequency is more. When lambda is small, the number of waves crossing at any point will become more. Okay, so V equal to nu lambda. This is the wave equation. Okay, because we are going to use this formula in finding the refractive index of different colors. That's why I am telling now. The color of the light depends on the wavelength lambda. Okay, that means different colors of lights have the different wavelengths. See here, red light, this is the orange, yellow, green, blue, isn't it? Indigo, violet. See here, wavelength of red color light, that is lambda r. I am representing the wavelength here. So this is the wavelength of the red color light is more than the wavelength of the violet color light. Lambda r is more than lambda v. Okay. In vacuum, all colors of light move with same constant speed. That is, the speed of light c equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Remember, in vacuum, in a material, the wavelength never changes. Wavelength remain constant only. Okay, the only thing is the speed of the light changes. The speed of colors will change. However, in vacuum, all colors will move with the same speed. That's why we get the white light. So a white light, a ray of white light is composed of 7 colors, and all these colors will move with same speed equivalent to the speed of velocity of light, that is c equal to 3 into the power of 8 meters per second. So the light appears white. Okay, hence all the colors travel together and light appears white in vacuum. This is very important. Here wavelength never changes with respect to material, isn't it? So the wavelength of red color light is this much only, and the same wavelength will exist even in different materials, in vacuum or in any other transparent material. Wavelength never changes. The only change will occur their velocities or speeds. Okay. See here, in the equation V equal to nu lambda, the frequency of the source nu is constant and is independent of material. In vacuum, V, that is speed of light, is equal to c, is also constant. That means all the wavelengths from lambda r to lambda v have to travel together to keep the nu constant. But in a material, the speed depends on the color of the light. However, nu is constant. You see here. Here in this equation, I am applying this equation for light waves. Here nu is constant. That is the source of light, whatever the particles or charges are vibrating with the same frequency. The only change is lambda and v. So lambda, that is the wavelength, is different for different colors, and v is the velocity. But in vacuum all colors will move with same speed equivalent to the speed of light c. That's why in order to make nu constant, isn't it? So all the wavelengths from lambda r to lambda v have to travel together to keep the nu constant, isn't it? But in a material, the speed depends on the color of the light. Because of this variation in the speeds of the different colors in a material other than vacuum, in any material, the dispersion occurs. So here nu is always constant because the source is oscillating the same frequency all the time. Okay. In a material, okay, when nu is constant means V is directly proportional to lambda as per the equation V equal to nu lambda. Here nu is the frequency of the source with which it is vibrating. Okay, source is vibrating with the constant frequency. So the frequency of the source never changes. That means nu is constant. When nu is constant, V is directly proportional to lambda. V will become directly proportional to the wavelength. V is the velocity. Okay. At that time, what will happen? We know that lambda r is greater than lambda v. Hence, Vr is greater than Vv. What is lambda r? The wavelength of red light is greater than the wavelength of the violet color, and the velocity of red light is more than the velocity of the violet color in material, not in vacuum. In vacuum, all colors travel with the same speed, equivalent to the speed of the light 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. So that is, the speed of red light is more than speed of violet light in a material. So what is the result here? Vr is greater than Vv. We should better understand these concepts in order to know why dispersion will take place. Okay, so the conclusion here is all colors will travel with the same speed in vacuum, whereas in any material, that is in glass or in water, the speed of colors depends their wavelengths. When wavelength is more, speed is also more. When wavelength is less, speed is also less. So in our case, we already know this, the wavelength of red color light is more than the wavelength of violet color light. That leads to the speed of red light is more than the speed of violet light. When the speeds are different, when the speeds of the colors are different, obviously their refractive indices are different. That means the refractive index of a material depends upon the color of the light. It is not same for all the colors. Okay. So here VR is greater than VV. So in any material, red light travels with more speed than violet color light. Okay. Then how do we find the refractive index? See here, the relation between the refractive index and the speed of light is, here is the formula, refractive index of medium. It is denoted by the letter N. Speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in material. Okay. C is the speed of light and V is the speed of light in material. In vacuum, all colors will move with the same speed, equivalent to speed of light. That's why that means here V is equal to C in vacuum. At that time, what will happen? C will get cancelled. You will get 1. That is the refractive index of vacuum equal to 1 at that time. When the refractive index is 1, no color will deviate from one another. That means all the colors will move with the same speed in unison, appears as, in turn they appear as white color. Okay. But here in a medium, to find the refractive index of any medium, this is the formula. C is constant. But here speed of light is different for different colors. We know that speed of red color is more, that is VR is more. When VR is more, when the denominator is more, this will become less. So NR is less. See here, the speed of red light VR is greater than speed of violet color VV in a medium. I am talking about in medium, not in vacuum. So in a medium, the speed of red light VR is more. When this value is more, NR, that is the refractive index of the medium for red light is less. See here. Then what is the result here? Hence, the refractive index of red light NR is less than refractive index of violet light NV. That is, NR is less than, that is NR is less than NV. So red light bends less than violet light in refraction. Okay. So here VR is more means NR is less, refractive index is less for red color light. That means, remember one thing, here the refractive index of medium depends upon the color of the light. The refractive index is not same for all the colors. So the refractive index of red light is lesser than the refractive index of violet color. Why? Because speeds are different according to this. So here NR is less than NV. That means when all colors from red to violet are sent through a prism or through a glass slab, they bend differently. This is the property on which this is the property on which a prism separates all colors in a ray of white light when it is incident on one of the surfaces. Okay, this is more important. So when light travels through a material, all the colors will get separated, and this is called as the dispersion of light. See here, I already showed you this. This is the red color light incident on the surface of the glass slab, and here is the normal. It will get refracted because it bends less. Why it bends less means the refractive index NR in case of red light is less. Okay, this is the red light. This is the refracted ray. The deviation is less. And take the violet color light, which is incident at the same point, and after refraction it will go like this. That means it is bending more. Why it is bending more? Because the refractive index for the violet color light is more. Okay, so the deviation is also more. That means the angles of refractions of different colors are different. So the angle of refraction of red light is more than the angle of refraction of violet color light. That's why the colors are getting separated when they are traveling in a material. Okay, but here all the colors are separated by this. But after traveling like this, we won't get a rainbow here. Why? Because when this ray of light is coming and when it emerges from this point, again we have to draw the normal, and the ray of light travels from the denser to rarer means it will bend away from the normal like this, isn't it? So this ray will become parallel to the incident ray. That is, the emergent ray will become parallel to the incident ray. That means after second refraction here, all the colors will meet again. They will travel together and appear as white light again only. Okay. Now my question is, can you obtain a rainbow on a screen when a ray of white light is passed through a glass slab? Here is the glass slab I have taken. Now I am sending a ray of white light through this. Obviously, all the colors are separated. They will travel differently. Okay. Now the question is, will you get the rainbow on the screen next to the glass slab placed here? Let us see. Why prism only separates all colors and make them to fall on a screen? Here is very important thing. In order to getting a rainbow, we are using prism, not a glass slab. Why glass slab will not form a rainbow on the screen? Let us see here. So here is the glass slab I have placed, and this is the ray of white light, isn't it? I have taken a pretty thick in order to show all the colors in it. And in this white ray of light, all colors exist, but they don't appear out. Why? Because all the colors are moving with same speed. With the speed of light, they are moving. Okay, so the collection of 7 colors Vidyot is called a white light. And whenever this white light is incident on the surface of the glass slab here, what will happen? This glass slab will separate all the colors. Why? Because the refractive indices of all the colors inside this ray of white light are different, isn't it? So the refractive index for violet color is more than red color. That's why they will get separated in the glass slab. Red light bends less. Violet color bends more because of their, according to their refractive indices, they will bend the remaining colors. This is the white light, okay, which is incident here. That's all. Here, all the colors are getting separated. They are not traveling together. Why? Because their refractive indices are different. So, the glass slab will bend them differently. According to their speeds, the glass slab will bend. So, here all the colors have become separated and they have traveled to the other side of the glass slab here. Now they have to emerge from this side. Okay. Suppose if you take only red color light. So this red color light has to travel from denser to rarer medium. That means we have to draw a normal here. Okay. So when ray of light travels from denser to rarer medium, then what will happen? They will bend away from the normal. Okay, so all the colors will bend away from the normals only. Again, they will meet together. They will travel together. Right? They will travel together and appear as a white light only. So this red ray will travel like this, and this ray will like this. So finally, we will get some lateral shift from this light only, isn't it? So see here, that's why we won't get any rainbow on the screen because of the glass slab. Okay. So here we are getting again white light only. All the colors again will form only white light. Okay. For that reason, a glass slab will never form a rainbow on the screen. Now, here is our beautiful rainbow formed by a triangular prism. You can see now here. This is the triangular prism. Okay. and here is the a ray of white light incident on one of the rectangular surfaces. Actually, this is the outline of the prism only. Okay, next. So this is the white light which is incident on one of the rectangular plane surfaces here. What will happen? Here all the colors will be separated. That's all. See here. The refractive index of red color is lesser than the refractive index of violet color. That's why its deviation is less, its deviation is more. Again, all these colors are traveling from denser to rarer medium. Again, they will bend, isn't it? So, finally, you will get rainbow on the screen like this here. That's all. Okay. This is VIBGYOR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, right. Same I am showing you once again. See here, white light. It contains VIBGYOR colors. All colors, 7 colors are there in it, and all colors are traveling with the same speed. Okay, and they are separated. And this is the rainbow colors, all colors. Okay, so thank you.